We are live. We are live. This is
We
the
are
Lynn and Debbie show. Hi, honey.
So fun.
Oh, I'm super excited about today's show. How are
Me
you
too.
today?
I am really good. I am so pumped for our guest because I'm a little obsessed with her. I'm not gonna lie. We can learn so much from her. So, so excited.
I'm super, super excited. We'll be right back after this. This happens to be one of my other co-hosts from another show, and she's just awesome, and you're gonna love her. You're gonna really love her. So we'll be right back with Sheryl right after this. Oh, actually, let's do our intro to our show.
Let's
How about
do
that?
it.
We need that little pump before we get this party started. And I don't know, are you super excited? Because I'm super excited.
Me, 100%. I cannot wait to share this beautiful woman with the world.
You talk about sassy, seasoned, wise, and just amazing. She's fabulous. That's why we have her here. She's fabulous and beautiful. So we'll be right back right after this with our guest,
Stay
special
tuned.
guest. Yep, right back. Welcome back with our special guest, Sheryl Isenhour. Who doesn't need any introduction. Actually, super excited here. You guys have no idea how much I love this lady, and I think after this show, you'll get to know why I love her so much. And Debbie became an instant fan of hers, and I have a few people that I made sure to send invitations because they did not want to miss this. So, Robert, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
We got beautiful ladies here. So it's super exciting. And so what I'm excited is Debbie got to read her bio, and she's asking these questions. And so what we're going to do is we're going to put the questions up there. Sheryl's going to answer them, and then we're going to talk about her answers because she's just amazing. So okay, for people that don't know who you are, we're going to start with some basic quick questions here, but
first, can I meet the lady you're talking about?
Look in the mirror.
If you don't know her, nobody else does, but yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so let's just start, Sheryl, with where were you born and raised? And Debbie was going to ask.
Actually, I have lived within 10 miles all my life. I was born in a little town outside of a town called Mount Pleasant, North Carolina, which is next door to Concord, which I'm actually there now, but been here all my life.
Wow. Concord, is that close? Like what, within an hour of Charlotte?
We're about 20 minutes north of Charlotte.
Oh, wow. That's a quick transit to the big city, huh?
It's close enough.
Yeah, it's close enough.
And I actually had the honors to drive over there and see her and her husband, Jerry, which we'll have on the show sometime. And it was nice because they were able to give me a tour by NASCAR, you know.
Oh, wow.
So I got the quick 50-cent tour. We did okay, we're here. Okay, bye.
As we That's plenty. That's plenty.
Yeah, sure. Are you a NASCAR fan?
I grew up in it. That's, good or bad or evil. I hate it when it comes to town.
Oh, yeah.
It shuts everything down.
Oh,
it literally does. They say it brings a lot of money in. It brings money right around the track, but it closes a lot of other businesses out.
Yeah. How long, when they do an event, how long is it? Like all weekends or?
The May event's 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
A period of 2 weeks off and on. October's basically about 4 to 5 days, but we have 2, and it keeps changing. They're playing slinky with NASCAR right now and all the things going on. But yeah, I used to have my good seats up there, and kind of glad that's gone because I never knew what was going on in the race because, like Lynn knows, I'm a people watcher. So I knew more about what was going on back here. I had front row seats up in the mezzanine. So
Yeah.
I watched these people watch the people down there. So somebody asked me about the race. I didn't have a clue.
All
right.
I would probably be. I've never been to a NASCAR race in my entire life, but I can imagine I would be doing what you're doing. What people watching, 100%.
That's the bad problem about having the front seat. The stands were below me, so I could see all those. And then the way too much money people were behind me.
Oh,
So I could see what they were doing. And it was a lot, it's a lot of fun.
that's awesome.
Oh, that's going to be another show we'll do with her, Debbie, on the NASCAR
Yeah.
view through Cheryl's eyes. That'd be great. But here we are to talk about you and find out a little bit about you. So the next question we have here is, what's your first career venture? And I kind of know a little bit about your background. So after your career venture, if you'll just tell us how amazing you are and that career you were doing. So
Actually, I'm going to run 2 consecutive, if that's okay.
yeah.
First, I was a mom, so that brings that in, one of my favorite things in life. But because of a lot of things going wrong with that marriage, I ended up being a single parent of a 4-week-old and a 4-year-old, and so I needed to work. So I woke up one morning, decided I was going to hang wallpaper, and that's another day in a whole story. But actually started hanging wallpaper the next day.
Wow.
And I did that for a total of 22 years. And in between that, I guess it would have been about 8 years into the wallpaper career, I saw construction going down in the States. We were going into the recession at that point. And so I needed a job. I needed to feed my kids.
All right.
So I decided to go get my CDLs and drive a tractor trailer, which I did. I long hauled long enough. I ran 230,000 miles.
Wow.
I had things worked out with my kids. That's, again, another story. But I was able to do that, and construction started coming back. So I quit driving a truck, went back to construction the next day, and finished out 22 years there.
Wow. I have a question. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to visualize Sheryl. And are you talking about a semi?
Uh-huh.
So like when we're going down the road and as kids, we'd be like, try to get that was you.
Yeah, I was
Oh, wow. That is amazing. Like I have never looked over on the highway and saw a Sheryl.
There's a lot of females out there right now, but when I started, there wasn't. You were the oddity, for lack of a better word. And so you had to prove yourself. I had to be better than everybody. I had to get there quicker than everybody. I had to back it better than everybody. So it, just like all my careers, they've always been male orientated.
Yeah.
And that was one of the most male orientated because you were it.
You're not a kidding. You're not a kidding.
That was
you had to hold your own in man's world.
Yeah, that was the late 70s, early 80s.
Wow.
So you can imagine where women were back in those years.
That's incredible.
It just made it more fun because you had that position. I guess you figured out I kind of like to be number one. And so being the one and only female at that company at that time, but they did hire after I got on, and I guess I did a good job for them. They did hire 2 more not long after I came on.
My mom, she was a CDL driver too, and she did that back in the day, and so it was rarity. It was a guy's thing, not a girl's thing. That's for sure. So I'm going to put up the next question if you want to read it there, Sheryl.
Okay.
Or, I mean, Debbie.
Whoever you are. Have you? Okay, I'm borderline obsessed with you, Sheryl. I've been watching you.
Can I go back to the question before that?
Sure.
Okay, here we go.
Sure. Yeah, and I got to be honest. Like I've watched you on your show, so you can stay tuned and you can see Sheryl every week with Lynn. But you're really a cool gal, and I've read your book. We'll get into all that. But this question is, you give a lot of good advice. but what's the best advice you have been given?
And it's probably not what people would think. Okay. It's something that's always weighed on and that's always brought things to perspective. And it's advice I give every young kid I know. I may not use the exact words, but I'm going to use the words of my father. At one time, business was a different thing. And I asked Dad about what job. And I remember him looking at me. He said, I don't care if you're a shit shoveler, but you be the best shit shoveler out there.
I love that.
And I think that was a lot of the structure that took me to being the best paper hanger, the best driver, the best anything.
I love it.
Is it anything you put on Facebook as a quote? Probably not. But I've always looked back at that as everything I've ever done, I had to be the best at.
Mm-hmm. Or at least give it your 110% no matter what. And I've been raised in a very similar environment, Sheryl, of just being the best you can be in any circumstance, giving it your all. That's why I love who you are, is because you just say it straight. You don't care. It's like, be the best. That's what your father said to you, and you repeated it. And I love it. You're so real and authentic and genuine. And also I have to say, do you feel like this, Lynn? When she talks, I feel like I've taken a nerve pill or something. I'm so relaxed, and I'm a really high-strung person. But like, as you talk, I'm just like, oh, I love it. I love it so much. You're so nurturing and soothing while you're even saying something funny. I love it.
Well, she's a mentor. She's a friend. She's family to me. She's just amazing. And even here's the next question, and then I'll feed into that. Here you go, Deb.
Have you always had a positive attitude?
Pretty much so. I can't say that I've never been down, but if I get down, and Lynn knows some of the situations, again, another story, but I've been down at times in my life, but I've always been able to look and see that there was a day in front of me. Today's going to end. And if you can't go into it positive, I can tell you right now, you sure as hell ain't coming out of it positive. So
that in itself is amazing advice.
Yeah. I mean, do things go wrong? Yes, they do. But things are an event. It's how you deal with that event. And yeah, do I get upset? Do I want to choke people? Pretty much every day. But I like to do it positively. I like to do it the best that I can.
If you're going to choke somebody out, you better do it better than anybody else, Sheryl. I love it. That's awesome.
You want to read that, Deb?
Yeah. So Robert Ward, thanks for being here, Robert. He says, when she talks, it's like talking to your favorite aunt that always gives the best advice. 100%, Robert. I cannot agree with you more. And the funny aunt, like the favorite aunt. Yeah, for sure. For sure. I love it.
Oh my gosh. No, I love, and it's funny because she'll say, she's like, Lynn, you're so sweet. That better not be weighing down on you. No, it's not. Well, it's fine if it's not, but she
calls you out.
Yeah. Well, she calls me out because she loves me so much and she knows my heart. And then, but she toughens me up a little bit. I'm like, okay.
I'd call you out if I didn't like you. Okay.
That's just the way it is.
I had somebody.
It's her. It's her being. That's amazing.
I had one here a while back. I had to hear one here a while back. You might like this. They actually brought my age into it, which is kind of whatever. But they said, you're old enough that you can say things and you don't care what you say. And I said, yeah. They said, when do you get to that age? I said, if I have to look back and remember what my mom said, I was about 3.
Yeah. So see, and the thing is, you can tell that you're just that type of person, that you just are who you are. And you've probably known that since you were 3 and you don't care. Yeah. So, but that's what makes it more amusing. It's because it's not put on. You can clearly tell it's authentic.
And,
So
It's me. It's
you.
me. It's always me. I will tell you and everybody listening, if you don't like me today, I do not grow on you. You won't like me in a couple weeks. So it's the way it is.
I can't. How do you share? Okay, this is I want you to really go in on this one. How do you share your wisdom and positive energy with others?
Well, I think we've talked about I was a Ziglar coach. That gives me outlets to do it in coaching. It
Yeah.
gives me outlets to do it within about anything I do. I've written a few books. I try to use what I know and what I've done and what's happened to me in an aspect of helping others. I mean, my past hasn't been perfect. Things happen to me just like they happen to other little girls and things. But I've always tried to take what happened and turn it around positive for other people, because a lot of times when things happen to you, you feel like you're in that boat all by yourself. And if you try to tell somebody, I understand, and you really don't, they can read through you like thin paper. And so I use a lot of what's happened to me, my coaching background, my training with the Ziglar Corporation, and the fact that I've had some super mentors in my past. I mean, I'm not one of these coaches that don't have coaches. I have more coaches than you want to talk about. And I love to take what they give me out, the best things they give me, and press them on out to people. But this medium gives you a way of doing that. I'm open anytime to when somebody wants to talk. I don't close many doors, if that answers a question. I leave myself open to everybody. And the only thing is, if you don't want the answer, don't ask.
I believe you.
I've learned that one.
Right.
I don't go talk to my mama Sheryl without knowing she's gonna give it to you.
You're going to get it straight. And isn't that refreshing too, in a world where sometimes people are just people pleasers all over.
Yeah.
And then you ask a question and you want, positive feedback's always great, but you got to be ready for some negative feedback so you can grow and be better. So I love that you just are truthful. But I have a question, like the Zig Ziglar Corporation. How did you get involved with that? And what exactly is that? I mean, I know who Zig Ziglar is, and I use his quotes all the time, but
his son and daughters, moved it into the Ziglar Corporation, more or less. And Tom is speaking now. Actually, all the girls also, all of them are super speakers. And so they started the Ziglar Legacy is how it started with me. And so I went into the Ziglar Legacy training. I did that for me, for no other particular reason than for me. I had gone through raising Jerry's parents, and we knew that his father was the last one still here with us. And we were biding time. Okay. And I knew that it was time for me. And so I told Jerry, I said, I've seen this. I'd like to do it. And he said, well, he's always he's got my back. And it's like, well, yeah, go ahead. I said, but you don't understand. It's a week in Texas. You'll have to take care of your dad. Okay. Alone, period. So he agreed. I went ahead and signed up. And the good or the bad part about that, his dad didn't make it till that time. So it was good timing for me. I was at the end of a lot of parents. I took care of my parents, and then I took care of his mom, dad, stepmom, stepdad, aunt, and uncle. Actually, if his dad would have lasted another 2 weeks, I would have taken care of parents longer than I took care of my children. So I was used to having people in my house, and all of a sudden I was an empty nester. So it was good for me to get away. That gave me a chance. And it's amazing how much more you can absorb when there's been a controversy, when your heart's open. and kind of spilling out.
Oh.
And so I just sucked it up like a sponge and took in all that they had to offer. And then time went on after that. Then they offered their coaching. And then I moved on into the coaching because I felt like I had been coaching anyway, but I had been looking for a certification. And Jerry's a John Maxwell and a Jeffrey Gitomer. He has their certifications. So under the realm of CVC Success Group, I thought it would be nice if I had my own. And so that certification gave me a label, if you want to put it that way. But the class gave me much more. It gave me the things, and it wasn't anything I didn't know. I guess that was what was so good about it. It was the actual me, but how to make sure I did it properly. That was more what it was for me, because like I say,
she needed a little twist and tuck in here. Oh, wait, let me have Zig Ziglar's wisdom to put behind that.
Well,
Which, by the way,
they were who pushed me into the speaking group.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Not that they pushed; they were the ones that. I mean, first I had been speaking at trade associations on other businesses, but never in the realm of bringing the heart out. I brought knowledge out, and here I was having to push out the heart, and that's what you do in coaching. You've got to have a heart to help a heart.
Oh, gosh, I love that. Gosh,
So,
I've never heard that before.
I hadn't either. It just came out. Sorry.
Oh,
No,
that is a quote by Sheryl, just from the heart. You're talking. Oh my gosh. I'm
matter of fact, speaking of heart, let's walk right into
let's go right into it.
Yeah.
So you are so many things. You've been, you're a mother, you're a wife, you're a caretaker, caregiver, you've been a trucker. You've ran your own businesses, you're a Zig Ziglar coach, we can't even name it all. Let's just be honest here. But you're also an author. So I did read your book, and that made me even more obsessed with you, because you're such a nurturer and a caregiver. Giving of yourself and your time is bigger than any gift you can ever buy someone. So your book is called I'm Glad I Did It.
And not to interrupt you real quick, Debbie, but I want you to know that Sheryl's written how many books, Sheryl?
6.
Yeah.
So this is one of.
This is one of the, this is the one that I just recently read, but it's called I'm Glad I Did It. But then underneath of it, it says, do what it takes not to say I should have. Ooh, it's good. And it was inspired, right, by you caring for others. But can you explain how you balanced your life with everything else going on, rearing up your own children and everything, while then also caring for someone else?
You do what you got to do. I mean, you get up every morning, you put your big girl panties on, and you face that day. When you're doing that, you don't look for the next week or the next month. I mean, you have your ideas out there, but you can't plan anything, especially when you're caring for elder parents, which most of the books are about, in that field. But I just had to do it. There weren't other people to do it. And I don't know, you would say, people say, I know you did it so people will take care of you. I didn't think about it. I didn't think why I was doing it. You just did it. And so I started with my mom when I was 12, and she fell and hurt her back. And after that, I became the lady of the house. So now I'm in school. But we had gardens and things like that. So I lived out in the country. So you can imagine what country lives were. And so I picked up the meals. I got up at 4 a.m. and made sure my dad was at work by 5 by fixing his breakfast. And I tied up the evening by cooking dinner and picking the beans if that's what needed to be done. But I found time to play basketball. I mean, I played basketball my whole school year, but it's a balance. It's that thing of you can't procrastinate. You've got to just work the pieces as they come. Mom, they knew exactly what time I was going to be home, and believe me, exactly. And so we knew when the food would be on the table. We knew when everything was going along, and that's where I started. And I ended taking care of Jerry's dad as the last steps of that.
Well, Sheryl, I know when you started out answering this question, you say you do what you have to do. And what I have found by learning from other people is you're a rare breed. I don't know if you are aware of this, but some people don't do it or aren't able to do it for whatever, mentally. I don't know. That's why your strength is inspiring, and the love that you have and had for your parents and taking care of your father, especially in the book. It's the book that I read. I'm glad I did it, is really inspired by your father and the love that you had for him. And I just felt it as I read it. And you did it. Not everybody does. What advice, this is kind of just off my head here, but what advice will you give for people about not being super hard on themselves if they literally can't do what you do? That you're a very strong woman. I mean,
You can't begrudge yourself. You can't. But I just advise them, be able to live with what you can't do.
Oh, that's good.
I have people that cannot be a caretaker. I've met many of them. You wouldn't want them as a caretaker. Okay. Honestly.
Lynn.
Yeah, if they don't got the heart.
Lynn, that giggle gets me every time.
But the book was basically based on my point of view, exactly like it's read. And I've taken that that started when I was young, and I still do it. Everything I do can resort back to that book or the title of it, because I mean, I was with my dad through the aneurysms and through the cancer and everything like that. And I can look back and I can say I did everything I needed to do.
Yeah.
Sure did. And more.
There's no regrets. And I'm always trying to make that in my life, because I think I watched so many miserable people when I was a child. And all you ever heard because back then obituaries were really huge. You know what I mean? Everybody read the obituaries. And while they were reading them, all they were saying is, oh, I should have called them, or I should have done this, or I heard should have so many times. And I mean, I'm just talking out on the street. That was the things that was just, it muzzled through my mind. And I guess that put me into, if you should have, why didn't you do it?
Yeah.
If you didn't do it, it is what it is. Get on, live your life. Time's past, and quit living in the past. That's the biggest problem. I watch these people. They live in their past. They look in that rearview mirror. There is nothing back there that you can fix.
Mm-mm.
All you can do is make the future better. If you screwed up in the past, get over it. Fix it in the next step. That's my goals.
Which brings Debbie this next question here.
Mm-hmm. So what advice would, and Lynn and I are all about, let's get as much out of her as we can, because this is we're providing such a resource for someone who's lived it. And what advice would you give others who are dealing with aging parents, or anyone who is currently caring for someone? Like, I have some friends that have special needs children. This is a whole life thing. So as and I read this book, you were in the moment, like with your dad, for example, and you knew you also were raising your children, and you made a deal with your kids. This is what I need to do right now for what I'm going through in my life right now. And they understood, and, there was a mutual respect there. But how do people, deal with knowing maybe this is something that's going to be lifelong? If you have a child, or, even aging parents, like if you're 12 years old and your mom's injured and you have to be there for her constantly, I shouldn't say have to, but if that's what you just choose to do, what advice can you give us for that?
Number one, just like an airplane, put your mask on first.
Okay. Oh, Sheryl, you give me goosies.
I did get goosebumps on that one.
Did you feel that?
Yeah,
I feel it.
Yeah.
You put
Take
your
care of yourself first, because if you get sick, you're of no use to anybody else
yeah.
out there. So you have to take care of yourself. I had to take care of my children by letting them know I cared. I couldn't drop my children to do this. So even when I drove the truck and couldn't be there, I had to explain to them that this is how you get to eat. We don't have another funnel. And until they understood, not just this is what you're going to do. And so I put my mask on. I masked everybody else around me that needed to have their mask. And then I dove into whatever you had to do.
Can we just say oxygen mask? Just
Please,
putting
yeah.
that on there. Okay. We're talking oxygen, you know.
Yeah, you got to give yourself
life,
oxygen first.
people, life. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah,
I had a trigger there.
Yeah, exactly. We're thinking 2020 all over again.
Let's say one more thing before we go there.
Yeah.
Don't beat yourself up so bad and think that you have to do everything perfect. I will tell you, Miss Perfect sitting here took a pillow outside more than one time and put it over my face and screamed at the top of my voice.
Aww.
Just to bring myself back. So you're not going to be perfect. I don't care who you are or what you are. You won't be perfect at it. And will it not upset you? Do like I did. Just go outside and scream. Get it over with. Just don't scream at the people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you ever do anything like, okay, I have to take one day just to be by myself?
Not really.
She didn't have the time, Debbie.
I know. Like everyone was relying on her.
I'd go crawl in a chair somewhere and take time. I had that where a lot of people have to have days. I might have to have a few minutes and pull away. But as far as just having to get away, I mean, a lot of times I go sit out in the backyard after I made sure everybody was okay. I knew that's what I had, and I knew that's what I could give. And what I could give was all I could. And so you have to learn to reel yourself in a little bit faster.
Okay.
But yeah, if it's that day that you need, find somebody to stay there till you get that day.
And then is the key, when you do that, not to feel guilty about it.
Don't feel guilty. You are what you are. Every person, the three of us, and every person listening and every person that will listen, we're different. We all have our own behaviors. We have the way we feel. Don't feel guilty about it, because if you don't take that day, you're not going to be able to give who you're caring for the full amount of time that they need. So it's an injustice to you, but honestly, it's more of an injustice to them, because you will soon begin to resent the person you're taking care of. And then you've lost all that reason to be caring.
Yeah. Wow. This is amazing. This is very worthwhile, incredibly inspiring information for anyone who is listening to this. This is huge, Sheryl. Do you know, I looked the name Sheryl up with an S. It translates into beloved. Did you ever know that?
No, I wasn't born with that name though either. So you might not.
You picked the right one. Well, do tell. Give us the deets. What name were you born with?
Actually, my name was Shirley. I hated that name from the time I was a little girl for reasons we will not give on here.
Shirley Temple, it's a good chip. Maybe lollipop.
Yeah.
It was a surname of a lot of people that lived in my neighborhood. Okay. And their last name. And I always told Mom that, I just don't like this name. I had a sister, her name was Brenda. You had this pretty name, then you stuck me with this. And it was a young girl's problem. Okay. And so, of course, it would make my mom angry. Me and my mom would argue, blah, blah, blah. Life goes on. And so my mom passed away. And 2 weeks after she passed away, Jerry and I were sitting. When we go out and eat, a lot of times we eat at the bar. And we were sitting at the bar eating, and there was this girl came up. She was a little on the shit-faced side, for lack of a better word.
I love you. You're hilarious.
And we're sitting there, and the conversation it came around, what's your name? It was Shirley. Anyway, she said, the only thing worse than being named Shirley is being named Shirley May. So the next day I went to the courthouse and registered to have my name changed.
How old were you?
40.
Oh, okay.
And I registered to have my name changed. And it took 2 weeks. You posted it. You pay $200, post it in the courthouse. And if nobody tells you they don't like it, you can change it. So I did. And that's the actual reason. It has nothing to do with anything else other than.
Wow. Well, you know what? This is another example of you don't like something, you take action and you changed it. Good for you.
It's just funny because my original name was Eileen. It's an Irish name. I'll just say that. And I picked Lynn that's for another show, another story, but it's funny. I would have picked something different too, but yeah, it's so cool though that you did some homework there, Debbie, and you looked up Sheryl, but she picked something.
Maybe that's what I meant to do.
But you know what, Shirley, I saw Shirley was in the same category.
Shirley, you just right.
Surely, you know this. But no, Sheryl is beloved, and I thought how appropriate. And I looked up. You're a June baby. Are you a Cancer or a Gemini?
I'm Gemini, and as true as they get.
Okay, I was trying to figure that out because it didn't say the date. It just said you were June. I'm also a
Flag
June.
Day.
Yep.
June the 14th.
That's the same day as my brother. You know, it's funny, Debbie. You said to her, what free time? Like a whole day. Take a day for herself.
I'm telling you, I'm obsessed with Sheryl.
You know what? What's your favorite
free time? What are we talking about?
What's
your favorite thing to do in free time, Sheryl? Now that you have some,
I guess talk to you and Lynn. That's about the only time I have to do it. Lynn, you want to explain my free time?
Her free time is spending Wednesdays with me. And matter of fact, she is so sacred. We get to spend that. Now I'm telling little secrets about us, but we get to spend a half an hour before the show together if we get a chance. Here was 2 minutes to go. Now you're going to have to rewatch yesterday's show because it's one of those things where it was funnier if you were there, and I didn't want to mimic her on the show yesterday. But, and so we started the show talking about that yesterday, but I kid you not, she looks down her phone. She goes, let me take care of this call. And
Wait a minute, but it was like a minute before the show started, right?
That's what I'm saying. She goes, let me take care of this call. I'm like, okay, we got 2 minutes to go. So she picks up the phone and she goes, hello? I got 2 minutes before I'm on a podcast. What can I do for you? You know what? How about if you tell me what you want to talk to me about, and I'll let you know if you can call me back. No, I'm not interested. Bye. 40 seconds, and that call was done.
I love that.
And so you'll have to watch the show yesterday because, I mean, it was so raw before we started the show that I was just like laughing. I was like stuck in that moment with her. I was like, shit, I'm thinking 2 minutes before a show, and okay, we'll be a little late, but whatever. No, that woman had no. And so then she explains about taking our time and whatnot for her free time. But this woman has no free time.
People, you need to go watch the Lynn and Sheryl show from yesterday because it's so funny. The way Sheryl just does it. Hi, Darlene. It was just so funny. And so clearly your favorite thing to do in free time is not speak with a telemarketer. Let's just
I don't do telemarketers. Did you figure that out?
Yeah, that's for sure. Well, this is a gal who knows how to spend her free time when she finally gets some. She doesn't want to be on the phone.
It's sacred. It's sacred to her. And I'll tell you what, even staying at her house was awesome. You know, I mean, it was just, you just go there and you could hang out with her and we don't have to say anything. We just hung out and it was like the best peaceful, serene time. And like I said, nobody's going to find out where she lives because when I'm disappeared, Cheryl's gonna be going, I wouldn't worry about it. Everybody's all worried. Where's Lynn? And Cheryl like, she'll stay so quiet. Nobody's even gonna know to ask Sheryl nothing. She'll be like, I don't know. She'll let you know when she calls you.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
It's not my day to keep up with her.
Okay, so we're going to be leaving here soon, but I'm going to have Debbie ask this last question here. But that's what I love about her, and you guys don't understand, man. We have a quick 15-minute show, but she gives some sassy ass wisdom that I just love. And it's gonna be a
Sassy
collective.
ass.
Yes. Oh yeah. Matter of fact, I didn't have a picture up there, but our show was gonna be called what was it gonna be called, Sheryl? We had
Loud and sassy, I think.
yeah. We're like, we don't need to scare everybody away right away.
Maybe start in slowly. But I do, before the last question, one more question, because I'm going to pick your brain. For women who get caught up on how many birthday candles they have on their cake, do you?
No.
How do you feel about aging for us in general?
To be honest, to put it this way, I want to get really old, but this aging process sucks. Okay. I have no problem with it. I'll be 71 this June. Okay. And I have loved every day coming through it. And when my time comes to an end, unless I just torch myself, which is probably what's going to happen, I want it on my urn or whatever to say she had a hell of a ride, because it has. But getting old, and don't worry about how old you are. Worry about the journey that got you there. And realize there's a lot of people that aren't as lucky as you are to still be here. And that's what so many people don't look at. They worry about where they're at, not where all the people that passed before them are. Yeah. And so, my grandmothers lived to be in their 90s. And does that mean I will? No. But if I do, I want to enjoy the next 20 to 30 years. I don't want to sit here and worry about, why am I getting old? I mean, why do my knees hurt? Why? Just live the day, because today's all you're promised, and you're not even promised the whole day. So take it and go with it.
I believe you.
Forget about the damn
Boom.
just
Boom.
stick a dynamite and stick in the middle.
Age is just a
number.
It is.
And Sandra, she's a wise woman too. And so, you can't take that any better. But here's our last question, really.
Can you leave us with a tip that you use in daily life to keep going on while staying positive?
The title of my book. Be able to say you can. Don't ever have to say can't. Just be glad you did it, because that will inspire you. Everything you do. I think about my dad every day. Okay. And if I hear whispers, I know where a lot of them are coming from. Mm-hmm. And I'm just glad I did. And I'm glad I've done everything I've done in life. I don't begrudge any of it. Would I have been in a different spot if I hadn't have done a lot of it? Probably so. But I got memories that a lot of people will never, ever see. And that's my wisdom to anybody, is do your best every day and hold those memories dear, because that's all you've got left some days.
You know what? I have something I'm going to do, and this is going to be hard / there's my purpose for this, but I want to ask you a question. I want I don't even know why I'm going to ask this, but I'm going to ask it anyways. So what do you want to be remembered by?
Who I was. What I want to be remembered by is I want to leave the legacy that I cared, that I did, and that I try to be the best I am every day, that I was a good mom, a good wife, but most of all, just a good person.
Let's see. That was hard for me to ask, because I hope that day never comes while I'm alive, because I love you so much. You mean the world to me. And
believe me, I'll never leave you. I will haunt you till hell freezes.
I love it. Sheryls round.
I hope so, because I love you so much.
And I don't whisper. I will throw rocks. Okay.
Be like, "Ah, okay, I'm paying attention." Yeah, that's a great question, Lynn. And let's just say it like it is, Sheryl. Whomever has the opportunity and the gift of meeting you will 100% remember you as somebody who has left a legacy of kindness and goodness and nurture. Just woo, you got it going on, sister.
She
Just
does.
keep your chin up and be number one thing, be yourself.
I think I'm gonna start doing this, and people are gonna realize I'm gonna be like, because she's a whisper of mine sometimes, and I'll be like, now what would Sheryl say to me now?
What
And
would
I
Sheryl
think
do?
that so even on my show, what would Sheryl say to me now?
Yeah.
WWS do.
There you go.
WWSD. Maybe we
Yeah.
need to start a show like that. WWSD.
Yeah.
What would Sheryl do?
What would Sheryl do? That's right. Because I'm telling you, she's really one of my mentors, and I love her dearly. And I want to thank you for taking the time out
Thank
for
you.
us and being here. And again, you guys might want to watch yesterday's show, because now that you know the fact that she did that in 40 seconds and like less than a minute and a half before our show, I was just sitting there, and then she's modest telling it. She didn't tell everybody. Well, I said, what do you what do you want to tell me about? Tell you if you should call me back. It's hysterical. It's hysterical.
It really is. It's just the delivery of her messages are funny when you're not trying to be Sheryl.
No,
It's just hilarious. It's
and-
so,
Dry humor for sure.
oh, you do. It's even when you're not trying. Oh, it's hilarious.
it's
Well,
brilliant.
you got to remember one thing, that I'm not like a lot of other people. My mouth is usually about 30 seconds before my brain.
And it serves you, because I love
It
it.
does.
I love it being uncensored. I love the fact that it's just, raw and real. All the shows I do are raw and real. And that's what's important, is living in that moment and being in that moment. And whatever happens, happens, and it's meant to be wherever. But I see a Jerry comment here. Welcome to his world.
Jerry, God love you.
Well,
Jerry's like, welcome. She's always at least 30 seconds behind in mouth.
Well, and it's funny because I pegged him in front of Debbie here before the shows. When are we going to have Jerry? And we're going to see Jerry's world. And so, anyways, we'll have Jerry sometime here soon too. But again, thank you so much for being here. Love you so much, Sheryl. Yep.
That's not very good heart.
I love you. Yep. We oh. I love you so much. So you guys, thank you so much for being here. And again, Sheryl and I, you could see us on Wednesdays, noon Eastern Daylight Savings Time. And we just do a quick witted. And, if you didn't notice, you could probably go back and count a couple times. We coined our show, whatever, because Sheryl loves to say whatever. And I think whatever has taken a new turn since we've done the show, because we could talk about whatever. And some of our conversations are so great that I think we're not even worrying about the topic. We just show up, and whatever's on our mind, we talk about. So that's how she should be in life. Be present and be with, do you want to say anything closing, Deb?
Oh, I've just been so thrilled with this whole thing. And thank you for enlightening us. Oh, wise Sheryl right here. She's amazing.
Yeah.
I want to be more like you. I do.
Thank you for inviting me, ladies.
And thank you so much. Is there anything else you wanted to say, Sheryl, before we leave?
Everybody just get your crap together and go forward.
There you go. I love it.
Fix it and move. That didn't come out well, but hey, it's the end of the show.
Because don't come back bitching at Sheryl, because she'll tell you. And what do you want me to do about it? Isn't that what
I will give you one chance to bail if you ask me a question. If I ever say, "Are you sure you want the answer?" If you say yes, gates open. Sorry.
All right, you guys, we're going to close out with this little outro. Thanks, you guys. Bye.